Welcome back to the news at 10. Electricity consumers in the Anambra State capital, Awka, are asking the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company to speed up the installation of transformers that will improve power supply in the area. The card-carrying protesters, largely traders drawn from various communities, stormed the office of the EEDC, insisting that their businesses are badly affected as low power supply persists.
This is the office of the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company in Awka, the Anambra State capital. Once very calm, it's now a noisy zone as a group of protesters stormed the premises with chants of resentment over what they describe as the unsatisfactory services rendered by the company. With placards in hand, the consumers, who are majorly traders, insist this is not good for business.
State government donated a lot of transformers to many communities, villages, churches anyway. But those transformers donated were not installed. And the NEPAs are not doing anything about it.
NEPA people, if they are selling this thing, let them stop it and install what that is freely given to us by our governor.
Addressing the situation, the communication officer of the company claims EEDC is not aware of the distribution of transformers to communities by the state government.
If they have contacted EDC, what efforts? There are documentation, there are processes before a transformer can come on stream. So it is important we sit down, let us get the gist and enlighten them on how things are done. Then we'll prefer a way forward.
For the State Commissioner for Public Utilities, Water Resources and Community Development, he insists the indefinite suspension of transformer installation is against the resolve all parties had.
The governor called a meeting of the EDC board and they came. We reported the problem of power commissioning of transformer, the problem of delay and problem of not giving permits on time and all that. And the governor told them that he's ready to do more if they cooperate and support his cause. And they promised to do that. So I don't understand why they should say that they are not aware of all these problems.
While parties are trading blames over the installation of transformers, the people say what matters most to them is let there be light.
A former Minister of Information, Chief Edwin Clark, has criticized the National Revenue Sharing Formula. He believes it's the reason for the numerous agitations by militant groups in the Niger Delta region. According to him, the current revenue sharing formula does not reflect the spirit of fiscal federalism which the nation's founding fathers propagated. The former minister made the remarks at a meeting with the leadership of the Pan-Niger Delta coastal states in Abuja over the activities of militants in the oil-rich Niger Delta region. He appealed to the federal government to give more attention to the region when making political appointments.
In 1951, it was agreed that the three regions will be equal. Every citizen in Nigeria will be equal. Secondly, that each region will develop at its own pace. Thirdly, that physical federalism will be practiced. Today you have 36 states. Everybody has to come to Abuja to take money to develop his own state. Where does the money come from? It comes from your region. We are not saying we want it alone, but what we are against is for someone to take what belongs to is produced in my own region and say, I will give it to you, give you a little of it. That's unfair. And I appeal to Mr. President that we were not against him. All we are saying that we are part of this country and we should be recognized. If appointments are made, let us be involved. Carry us along. That's what we want.
Besides the issue of revenue sharing, the question of which system of government is best suitable for Nigeria has also been at the center of debate among Nigerians. Today, many say the presidential system is very expensive and has not met with the yearnings of Nigerians, nor has it kept time with the aspirations of the nation's founding fathers. In this next report, our correspondent Omelogo Nnadi takes a look at what analysts and prominent Nigerians are saying on this matter 56 years after Nigeria attained independence.
At independence in 1960, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe was president, while Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa was prime minister. Their tenure was short-lived. The military struck before they could lay a solid foundation for democracy to thrive. In the Second Republic, Alhaji Shehu Shagari became the president after the system of government in Nigeria was changed from parliamentary to presidential system of government, a system today criticized by Nigerians in many quarters who insist a tinkering of the presidential system is required, especially now.
We have to find a way of going back to a system where these leaders of government are subject to huge checks and balances and made to be more accountable.
To tailor it to our culture, to our way of living. That's what those that tinkered with it should have done.
But Nigeria's first military president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, says a presidential system is best for Nigeria. He, however, recommends a cut down of the running cost of the entire system by half, starting with the budget of the National Assembly.
It's cumbersome, it's expensive, and a lot could be done to cut down costs, staff, movements, you name it. It can be cut maybe to about half of what is being obtained now. You can look at the whole budget of the National Assembly, take up what is necessary and keep it.
Nigeria's era of civilian rule started in 1999 with Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who was able to transform the battered image of the country resulting from military rule. 17 years after the uninterrupted operation of the presidential system of government in Nigeria, the calls for restructuring still persists.
When you look at the cost of governance under the presidential system of government, I think it is something that we really have to look at once again. It is mind-boggling.
Tinkering with the presidential system. There's nothing wrong with it. You choose what you want and fashion it in a way, mold it in a way that you get the optimum from it.
But how feasible is that from the point of law?
If there's consensus and Section 9, Sections 8, Sections 9, all the sections dealing with amendment are looked into and complied with, why not? The Constitution can be amended. But it is going to be a cumbersome process.
Many Nigerians agree the problem does not lie with the system, but with the people who implement it. And as Nigeria turns 56, there are high hopes that things can be set right.
The people are industrious, the people are very brilliant, the people are resilient. So one looks hope that in the coming years, all these, the people, the resources will come together, will be channeled towards making Nigeria greater.
All eyes are now on President Muhammadu Buhari, who is having his second chance at steering the affairs of Nigeria to see how he governs under the presidential system. But in the meantime, other attention will focus on diversifying and fortifying Nigeria's economy so that agriculture and manufacturing will be revitalized in Nigeria to ensure a better future for Nigerians. Omelogo Nnadi, Channels Television News.
It's time for the day's business news. Let's join Loretta Chiogo.
Welcome now to tonight's business news. The federal government has been advised to channel more investments into the area of agriculture, education, to build the capacity of peasant farmers in the country. Now, this is coming from an agribusiness analyst, Mr. John Okmakwu. According to him, government intervention in the agriculture sector may soon become unproductive if farmers are not properly educated.
These poor farmers cannot afford this, cannot afford the cost of this training. So that is where we're asking the government, first of all, to come in and help and train these farmers and empower them so that they can get the certification they need to be able to deal with the outside world. That's all. So funding is one thing, but to me, the first thing to do is first getting the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge. I have so many people calling me from different parts of Nigeria. Oh, I have 10 tons of okra, and I heard that you can export okra. How do I get it to you? I said, no, it doesn't happen that way. First of all, we need to start training. For example, the person that is cultivating the okra. What kind of okra can you sell in the market? There's some certain things you need to know. For example, if you take an okra, for example, in Europe today, the best type of okra they eat, I'll put about 70-80% of the okra they eat is 8-sided okra. So if you have 6-sided or 9-sided, you're out of the market.
Meanwhile, Nigerian entrepreneurs have been challenged to upscale the quality of their products and services. The founder of Nigeria Entrepreneurship Summit, Mr. Emeka Ugoju, was speaking on the need to patronize made-in-Nigerian goods in order to get out of the current economic recession. He also asked the federal government to introduce more business-friendly policies for entrepreneurship to thrive.
We should never fall into the trap of, in the guise of made in Nigeria, allowing people to produce very low quality goods. We can only grow when, and I know we can do it. People are shocked with some of the things that are produced in Aba, but maybe be foreign levels. So the quality is there, but we have to ensure that we encourage quality. Also, the essence of bringing a lot of entrepreneurs together is that they could be able to share ideas, influence policies. In this instance, if there are government policies that are anti-progress or that would stop the country from getting out of recession as quickly as it is, then the power of coming together will be able to influence those policies.
Nigeria's planned November oil loading program shows the highest exports since January as major oil streams resumed. Report shows 62 cargoes with 1.88 million barrels per day is expected to load during the month, the highest level since militants bombed the pipeline that exports Forcados crude oil in February. Before the pipeline was hit, February and March exports were planned close to 2 million BPD, but nearly all the cargoes of Forcados were cancelled as the pipeline closed. The operator Shell declared force majeure. And that's it on Business News. It's back to Harriet for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Loretta. Next on the news at 10, Nigeria's Flamingos crash out of a FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Jordan without scoring a goal. That's on Sports News. Please stay with us.